Hello everyone, welcome to the interview series with Simantra. Today we have Vaibhav Bhosle with us. Vaibhav works with one of the largest asset management company in India, where he handles corporate funds. In the last session we discussed what are mutual fund and its three types: equity fund, debt fund and hybrid funds. Debt market are a specialty of Vaibhav. In this session we'll dive deeper into debt funds and if they are right choice for you. With this, I welcome Vaibhav to you in today's session. Hello, Vaibhav. Do you want to share a little about yourself?
Hi Yesha, how are you? I hope everything's good in this current condition of coronavirus. We have been sitting home for very long now. Uh,
Yeah.
just to introduce myself, I'm working with an asset management company where I'm into handling of corporate treasury. You know, but at the same time, I think for debt funds
Hmm.
we can dwell deeper how we can benefit the individual investors as well.
Let's start with the basic questions. First question is, what are debt funds? Would like to know something more about debt funds from you.
Okay, so basically, debt funds a lot of people it sounds to be very complicated, but it's very
Hmm.
simple. If you just take the word debt in it, what does debt mean in Hindi? It's nothing but karja. It's simple loan. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Now you have to understand what exactly is loan. Now loan is a very common thing which has been happening, through centuries. So debt funds are nothing but loan. When we take the word debt, it's nothing but loan.
Don't.
In
Yeah.
Hindi, we call it as karja. So, to talk about debt, we need to understand how it happens in the banking system first. So, you deposit your money into savings account. The bank acts as an intermediary, and then it passes on your money as a loan. It's the same concept which happens in mutual funds as well. The
Right.
company raises money, then
Hmm.
mutual fund will act as a facilitator. The mutual fund will take your money and they will invest into those kind of which we call as bonds or NCDs in
Instruments in
financial nature. Yes, right.
for what kind of people this debt funds would be right? I mean, is it like
Okay.
everyone can invest in, or how should you go for the investment in debt funds?
Right. So basically, Yesha, anyone can invest in debt funds. It can be used as a savings tool. It can be used as something like a parking tool where you park your money, like you do it in the bank, like a savings
Right.
account. You can use that as well. The only thing on which it depends is your time horizon. Okay. So
Okay.
if you come to me, just for example, if you as a salaried person come to me and you ask me and ask me what kind of debt fund should I invest in, the first question would be what is your time horizon. That is very
Right.
important.
Right.
Okay. And then how much is your risk appetite? So that's the second thing. So these two things are very important: the time horizon and the risk appetite.
So, Vaibhav, there's one more question in my mind. What are the type of debt funds?
So
Yeah.
basically, what happens is, as per classification of debt funds, there are two types of debt funds. One is based on the maturity period, and some are theme-based debt funds. Okay,
Okay.
when I say that based on the maturity period, is basically for example, I would like to give, if someone wants to park their salary for
Hmm.
next 2 months, something like that,
Okay.
2 months or 3 months, then he might consider investing in something like a liquid fund, okay, where he can enter and exit anytime. Of course, there is a 7 day exit load period now, which the SEBI has put, so that is there. But if someone wants to invest and someone wants to invest, just for example, for next 3 years, then you
Hmm.
might recommend him to go for a corporate bond fund, which has triple A rating or
Right.
something of that sort, where he is okay to take that kind of risk, but he has a time horizon of 3 years. So what happens,
Right.
especially in debt funds, is
Hmm.
if someone invests in something like an overnight fund, which has a maturity of 1 day, so a paper which the fund manager will buy, it will have a maturity of only 1 day. So
Right.
the paper matures in 1 day. So that's the whole idea. And you invest, and next day you can redeem it. So even for one
Right.
day you can park it. But as the maturity of the fund increases, what happens is the returns will also go on increasing, because it's simple, like अगर आप किसी को अगर कोई आपके पास आता है कि मुझे कुछ पैसे चाहिए एंड मैं वो कल लौटा दूंगा एंड ही इज योर फ्रेंड, ओके, तो आप उसको शायद पैसे दे दोगे, ओके, तो उसमें रिस्क थोड़ा कम हो गया. बट इफ समवन कम्स टू यू, even though he's your friend or whatever, and he says that, okay, I just need some money and I will return it to you after 5 years. So you will say, ठीक है, मैं तेरे को पैसा तो दे देती हूँ, but तू मेरे को उसमें ना थोड़ा ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट दे, because it's risky. So the rate of return increase depending on the time horizon. So if someone wants to invest for 5 years, तो उसको थोड़ा ज्यादा रिटर्न मिलेगा.
So in short, जितने ज्यादा टाइम के लिए हम लोग पैसे रखेंगे उतना ज्यादा रिटर्न मिलेगा डेट फंड के अंदर. That's what you are trying to say, and it depends on the credit rating. I mean the quality of the paper.
Essentially that too, and you need to also look at the average maturity of that particular debt fund. So that is also very important. As I said, कि overnight fund है तो 1 day का average maturity होगा उसमें. If something like if any kind of credit fund है तो उसमें average maturity will be somewhere around 3 whatever, it could be anything. Or a gilt fund, which is nothing but government bonds. Its average maturity, depending on the fund manager, you need to look at that. It's not that I want a 5-year maturity kind of fund, but what if it's not available right now in the market? What if it's not available?
Right.
So you can't go on, you can, like जैसे बैंक में होता है कि मुझे 5 साल का FD चाहिए. It doesn't work that way. But yeah, there are options available in the market. You can go ahead and invest in those. Yeah.
How are debt fund different to equity? How will one understand that it's an equity fund or a debt fund? What is the major difference between an equity fund and a debt fund?
If you want to compare debt fund with an equity fund, I would say it's like the basic thing is debt funds will invest in NCDs, bonds, and in equity funds they would go and invest in stocks. So just to give you a brief about all this, so when we say finance, there are 2 ways to raise money. One is through loans and one is through equity shares. So that is the only difference, that if you are going to equity, so equity में थोड़ा ज़्यादा risk रहेगा, because here you are not giving someone a fixed return, but debt में you are offering someone a fixed return based on yearly, monthly, whatever, semi-annually, based on that. So that is the major difference. So I would say over here, if someone is not comfortable investing in equity funds because they think that it's risky and they invest in stocks, so they can consider investing in something like a debt fund, because they are comparatively less riskier than your equity funds.
Right. Vaibhav, I wanted to ask you one more thing. What do you mean by low risk? I mean, you just mentioned that investors have low risk in debt funds compared to equity.
So what happens exactly in equity funds is you become owner, you get a stake in that particular company through mutual fund route. Okay. And when you are investing in a debt fund, you are a creditor. You don't have any stake in that particular company. Okay.
Makes sense.
So, and if that company goes bankrupt, you have the creditor will have the first right to get the repayment and not the shareholder. So that is how I would say debt funds are less riskier compared to equity funds.
Right. So in short, you are trying to say जब भी हम equity में invest कर रहे हैं, तो equity के हम shareholder होंगे, so we are directly owners of equity, right, of the company. In the same way, debt में हम लोग उनको loan दे रहे हैं, तो फिर we are the creditors and they'll repay us back first. तो जब भी company insolvent होती है, तो सबसे पहला right होता है creditor का, और फिर right होता है equity holders का. And that's the reason debt funds are more secure than equity. Makes sense. Got it. Yeah, it got very clear now. Perfect. How is debt fund different to fixed deposit? Are they both same? Are they different? How does it work? Can you elaborate a bit more on that?
Right. So Yesha, actually this question has been asked to me multiple times, a lot of people till now. कि हम लोग डेट फंड में क्यों इन्वेस्ट करें? Why should we not go directly to the bank? You know, it's like safe and all that. Yes, the most important difference in FD and debt funds is in that any open-ended debt scheme you have an exit. You know, अगर आप fixed deposit में invest करते हो, which has a minimum tenure तो 7 days से ही start होता है. Debt funds में तो आप 1 day के लिए भी invest कर सकते हो, 3 दिन के लिए, whatever, it's up to you.
Right.
Or if you are breaking your FD, there is some charge depending on the bank to bank. Okay.
Right.
But here you have an exit. There might be some debt funds where you might have an exit load for कि आप invest करो, but 6 महीने के पहले you cannot redeem your money, so 1% exit load will be charged. But most of the debt funds, they don't have any kind of exit loads. I'm talking about most.
Right.
There are some debt funds which might have an exit load. But this is one of the major difference कि आपके हाथ में liquidity है. So for example, अभी कि I have parked my fund into FD और मुझे कुछ emergency आ गई, मेरे घर पे कोई hospital में, I have to give money to the hospital urgently.
Right.
तो अगर मेरे पास पैसा अगर FD में है तो मुझे जाके FD तुड़वाना पड़ेगा. Here it's just one click, I just redeem it, next day पैसा मेरे खाते में आ जाएगा.
Oh,
it's that simple.
Is that so easy? Wow.
That's the beauty of investing in debt funds. I'm not bad mouthing FDs over. जो भी करना चाहता है,
you get money in a day. If you put for redemption, you get money in a day back in debt funds, mostly.
Right.
Wow. That's very simple. That's very simple.
So it's it's very convenient, I would say, compared to investing in a fixed deposit.
Hey Vaibhav, thanks a lot for joining us today on Simantra.
Thank you, Isha. Thank you so much for having this session. I hope that I have made things simple for those people who had no idea about debt funds, before watching this video.
Exactly, it was very simple. Everyone in the audience might have understood the concept. You made debt very simpler to all of us. Thanks a lot for such insightful session. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I look forward to your videos. And I'm sure you'll be explaining a lot of concepts. This is just the beginning, so I'm hoping that you'll explain a lot of concepts in detail after this.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, Vaibhav. Hope for such insightful sessions in future.
Thank you, Isha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.